Hey, I'm Noah, and I am going to be showing you how you can take care of a nitro gas powered RC truck, and how to do after run maintenance, and mostly just knowing how to care for your RC and making sure that it still stays in perfect running condition, no matter what you can put it through. So right here, I've got my Jato. It is a nitro gas powered RC truck, and it's just been recently, and I just recently ran it not very long ago. As you can see, it's pretty dusty, and I'm going to be doing some after run maintenance, and I'm going to show you the process. Hey, now I'm gonna be showing you some parts that are under the cover of my Jato, and I'm going to be identifying most of them and showing their jobs and how to maintenance them, how to keep them working. So let's take a look under here. So as you can see, there's a lot of electronics under here. It may look kind of complicated, but it's actually pretty easy. So right here you have the engine cooling head. It's basically what keeps the engine from melting, I guess. And right here is the exhaust pipe, and this is the exhaust resonator. And these are the suspension towers, or the shock towers. And as you can see, there's little threads on each one, and that actually allows you to turn this, and you can actually adjust the stiffness of the shocks so that you can make it so that it sags down in the back and raises up a lot in the front, or you can reverse it, or and all that kind of stuff. You can make it on. You can make the whole thing kind of sag down or be completely up. There's a lot of ideas. And right here is the fuel line. This is where all the fuel goes from the gas tank, which is right here. And it goes. This part of it is connected to the resonator, and the rest of it goes through there, and it's kind of wound up there so it doesn't get all tangled. And it goes into, it's kind of hard to see, the carburetor, which is in the side of the engine right there. And that's basically what kind of powers the whole thing. It's what powers the single piston that's inside the actual engine, now that silver part in there. So this is the gas tank right here. It's basically it's basically the most important part of the truck, and it uses a very specific fuel. It's called top fuel. It's made by Traxxas. Is the container right here. It comes in gallons, but this is just a filler container. So you just take off this lid, this little black cap, and what you do to fill it is you can open it using this, or if the cover is on, using this to pull the lid open, and you can just fill it up to about the bottom of the neck. And so this is on 50-50 right now, so it's 50% throttle and 50% brake. On the 70-30, it inches that forward, but it doesn't change anything. So it's 70% throttle and 30% brake for really high, for races and stuff. And the antenna folds down if you're taking it somewhere. It takes 4 AA batteries in this compartment. You just press with both thumbs, and this lid comes right off. And it takes 4 AA's. You have to make sure they're all completely charged, or else the thing won't work at all. And the older version takes 8 AA's, but this is the newer version, so it only takes 4. Pop the lid right back on. And right here is the Easy Start motor. It's actually what allows the engine to use. It's actually what cranks the engine to get the piston going, and that's what starts it up. And the thing that makes it all happen is the Easy Start remote. This is a very unique tool. You plug it in to this little plug in here, and you press this button, this red button, and it'll rotate, and it powers this motor, and it's connected through there, and it turns the piston into a straight position so that the glow plug, which is down there connected to that wire, can start the piston. And when you push this button, one of the lights will light up, and it's the one that says motor. That means the motor is working fine and it's spinning the piston. And the glow plug, which only lights up when you actually have it plugged in, means that the glow plug is igniting and it's powering the piston. When it doesn't ignite, that means there's a problem with the glow plug, that it's like not all the way screwed in, or that the wire isn't connected.
Go ahead and crank it.
So I'm gonna crank it right now. It may sound like a bit weird, but so that's what it sounds like. As you can see, both lights are lighting up when I crank it. And a bit of exhaust is coming out too. So that's what happens when you crank it. And what happens when you crank it is it's basically just pushing all the fuel through those lines going into the carburetor. And here is the steering servo. It's kind of hidden. It's that little piece. It's basically under there. It's kind of protected. And what it does, I'm going to turn it on here. And what that does is basically, oh thanks.
Okay, go again.
You can see that this little piece right here, a little ball joint, so that it doesn't like roll around by accident. It goes back and forth, and it's connected to this little piece in there, and it presses the bar in or out, and that's basically what turns the wheel. And the trim, this is what the trim does. So, this is what the trim does. Kind of inches the wheel to a certain direction when I'm not even turning the steering remote. So, put that back on center. So, and a very important thing when it comes to turning both of the transmitter and the truck on is always turn on the remote first and then the truck, because this causes because if this isn't happening, if you don't do this correctly, then it can cause the receiver to get a stray signal, and it'll kind of go all haywire. It'll kind of like turn whenever you don't want it, or it'll just accelerate when you want it to brake. And you always turn this off first and this off last. It's very important to remember. Now I'm going to talk about cleaning your truck, as I'm doing with the Jato. So right now I'm going to demonstrate how to clean it and how not to clean it. So here I have myself a little rag. Now I'm not actually going to clean it. I'm just going to show you where you can clean it and where it's critical you don't clean it, like electronics and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over a quick review on where to clean it. So if you get it dirty like I have it now, you can clean off the side plates. You can clean off the side of the frame. You can clean off the wheels, because what's the point of having fun if it's not shiny? And you can clean off the bumper. It's okay if you clean off metal. It's not like it'll get rust. You can clean off the bumper. You can clean off the shocks. And you can clean off the towers. And you can also clean off the battery box, which is right here, which you kind of dust it off. Maybe use like a duster or something. And you can also wipe off the cooling head. You can use like a brush. And you can just kind of like get in between all the little parts in there. And you can also wipe the handle, but just be careful if you have the rag a little bit wet. just make sure it's not like sopping wet, because then it could like drip into like parts of it where you don't want it to go. So even if it's just a little bit wet, you still want to avoid the starting plug, because if water gets in there, it could like damage the whole thing, and then you won't be able to start it at all. And you can clean off these gears in here. You can clean off you can clean off the servos. You can clean off you can clean off the exhaust pipe. There's plenty of things you can clean off. You can even clean off the tires. Just get a wet rag and just kind of wipe them all off. Or you can detach them. There's just a little nut on each one. It's really not hard. You just need a little socket wrench, and you can take off each tire, and you can just wash them individually. And you can also you can take off this little plastic piece right here, and you can just kind of wipe that off, because as you can see, it has a lot of exhaust fumes on it. So and you can take off this little pin right here, and you can check to see if the servos are good. You can clean off the steering servo right in there. Just maybe kind of let it loose so that you can get in there, and you can just kind of. Okay. So that's why it's very important to keep too much dust from getting onto this. So I'm going to show you how to clean it, and the way you pull it off is you don't pull it off this way. You kind of pull it off to the side. Make sure I don't break anything here. Now, as you can see, it kind of has that little like plug right there, and to clean, and that's where dust can get into, and that little bar in there can get all grindy. So what you can do to clean this is, so you have the air filter right here. What you do to clean it is first you have to take it apart. This is kind of a hard part. So you take off this little plastic piece right here. it's kind of hard. So when you the first thing you have to do to clean the air filter is you have to take apart the pieces. So I already have this piece off because it's kind of wedged all into those little creases right there from that rubber disc right here, and it was kind of hard to get off. So and the foam element is right in there. So what you can do is you can just kind of pull the whole thing out, and it looks like this. Now see, as you can see, there's a lot of dust on the end, but it's a good thing it didn't get through. So you have the pieces here, and the way you can wash this is just wash it in your sink, and just use some regular soap, or maybe some soap that's used in dishwashers, and you just kind of scrub it all down, make it all get it all foamy, and then once you're done cleaning it, you can sit it to dry for about a half hour. And you can also wash off the pieces too, because you don't want any dirt get on that, because then that would give, like, I guess it would give the dirt kind of a head start on getting to the engine. So you want to clean off the screen. You can clean off the insides too. You can clean off this. And also, when you're done drying this, there's a special oil that you put on it. Yeah, there's a special oil that you kind of dab onto this. You just kind of put like 30 drops all around it, kind of in a zigzag pattern. Doesn't really matter. And then you just kind of use your hands to kind of get it all covering the air filter, and it's kind of like a shield.
It helps trap the dust.
Yeah, it helps trap the dust so that it can't really penetrate it. It's just kind of like a little shield. And after you do that, you can just kind of press the element back in and make sure it's not crooked. So once you have it back in, you put this piece in. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it. So now once you have it back together, all you have to do is just put it back on the pipe, on the little tube. And to do that, you just kind of force it on directly back on. You don't really have to like pry it on. So you can kind of lift it up to give you a little bit more strength, and you just kind of force it back on like that. And you don't have to worry if it like goes. You have to make sure it goes all the way on so that it can trap as much dust as it can, and so that no dust can get into the crack if you like leave it partly open.